Hi, good morning, and welcome to a new episode of ET Retail Cafe by ET Retail. I am Charu Lamba. I'm here to make you look beautiful on a Monday morning with Manish, who is the founder of Wow Skin Science. Hi, Manish. Welcome to ET Retail Cafe.
Thank you, Jordan. Really excited to be a part of your show. I've been following you for the last couple of months. Really excited to be a part of this.
Wonderful. So, Manish, tell me how your journey in retail started. And since childhood, were you always inquisitive about becoming an entrepreneur? Or how was it? Because as far as I know, I've been before Wow Science, there were other things you were doing.
Yes. So obviously, entrepreneurship has been in my blood from a very young age. I went to a college which was 7:30 to 11:30 a.m. 12 o'clock, I used to be with my parents if they were family business. So I learned a lot of entrepreneurship very early. My previous venture was into electronic retail of computer hardware and finished brands. Was one of the largest retailers for a multinational brand in Bangalore City. Learned was really close to consumers, and that was my passion to understand what can I serve them, what can I do more. That's when my entrepreneurial journey really kicked in. Uh, do remember just about when I finished college, I started a business bootstrapped. I was only given a empty store by my parents and saying, "Oh, this is the only capital I can put you. Manage the rest. You'll have to manage." So I do remember that I filled my store up with a lot of empty boxes because I didn't have money to buy his minty those days. So nowadays, what you call just in time. Those days was just in time that I had a runner boy who was to go and pick up the product from the distributor when I had an order. So it was those days of innovation when you're bootstrapping. Like how do you make a business flourish from this? From there, obviously the business did well. At that time, it was successful, but it wasn't. It was a time when there was a e-commerce revolution in this country as well as modern trade revolution in this country where Tanakromas of the world, Flipkart of the world just about started or set up their shops in India, uh, where my stores were used more of customers coming in seeing the product, but buying these products outside, and that disrupted my business. I always thought I took my customers for granted, but no, disruption happened, and that business collapsed. So I learned over time that there were a few reasons. One, it was a low margin business, and the brand was never mine. And my promise to myself is that next time whenever I do something, I'll be on the other side of the fence, and that will be on the brand side. That all the value is. Took me a year's time to really get my mind together what I would do next, and that's when you enter into health and beauty as a segment. Seeing a lot of global insights as well as a lot of shift on how consumer buying happened globally. Just came to a point saying that health and beauty one is it's a great category to be in. Consumers, since it's in the highly educated category, consumers will buy it online, and that's when we started about our thought about building Wow. We just about crossed 10 years building Wow. And I remember those days that we tried everything and anything under the roof to make things happen. Uh, so, and then that was all about what can you bring innovation into this category. We pioneered about bringing gentle care as a category which is no sulfate, no parabens in this country at affordable price points. And also was very focused about bringing ingredients which have a lot of potency, which customers believe in, as our front model to build that business. So that was something which was great as a startup. The pandemic really helped us scale during those days because we had no offline stores. Consumers will buy online, so a lot of customers tried us, and that is where it is. So we're going to be in a very interesting phase where competition intensity is at the highest. Brands like us, which are crossing 10 years plus, might kind of think about how do you re-innovate yourself. So we are in those kind of cycles right now, which is really interesting to see how we can navigate those. But very exciting to build a well-known brand in this country. And let's see what more can we deliver for our customers.
So, Manish, where you started, you were in consumer durables kind of business and then beauty. I mean, two different categories altogether. Weren't it difficult for you to navigate that consumer and this consumer then?
Well, but customers are the same, right? They have the same old DNA. They teach you so many things. Whether it's a consumer, durable, or a beauty customer, right? Customer is a customer at the end of the day. You have to know what they want and what you have to deliver to them. So I wouldn't say it was different, but at the end, you should always know what you want to service your customer. And that was a big learning for me. So I still go back and say that they have a lot of resemblance as consumers as a start, say, point of view.
So, when you started the business, what were the challenges that you faced for Wow Skin Science?
Yeah, so obviously building any brand in in the country is. Remember, we are a country which we used to always say is starved of great brands. Over the last 3-4 years, it's a lot of brands. But those days' point of view is how do you build trust, and I think that is one of the biggest factors for anybody who's building a brand. That customers don't know you from anywhere. How do you build trust? And I would say that was one of our biggest challenge. How do you? Another big challenge was there's so much of doubt at times that were you a great product, right? Would this brand ever last more than 2-3 years? But that was never a hurdle for us. So about all, at the end of the day, we realize one thing sooner or later. We realize it's not about product, but it's also about how we build brand. And innovation is extremely critical. If you're going to innovate, I think brands will be dead. So we kept it. We were forced to innovate, which was great. We had the leverage of the internet supply chain world, right, where Amazons of the world were doing a great job distributing our products. So I wouldn't say that was a challenge, but building trust was one of our biggest challenges last ways.
But you must have gathered a few learnings from the last business and you must have implied from here to make sure it becomes a huge success.
See, I've realized one thing which from my whole learning is that any business is how well I did a year or two before. Nothing is grafted. So one thing I always took that you might have a great start, but and you might feel successful, but you have to have, as a founder of a consumer brand, I don't think so anybody's immune towards it. Everybody and anybody goes through a lot of cycles. If you see globally, the best of best brands today, even a Nike, look at some of the luxury brands, they all go through cycles where they are also forced to run away. So I always had the mindset point of view saying that, you know what, don't think that you're successful and don't even bother about if you're coming close to career. Because that's something which is very dynamic, right? So keep it level-headed because you can lose a lot very soon being a consumer brand and it takes time to rebuild. So that's how my mindset has been.
So if I have to compare the consumer of 10 years from today, I know people weren't that educated about beauty and personal care space. But now when I see people know how to layer their creams, how to make them look beautiful, how have you seen that? I know you must have seen from a customer.
This is gone crazy. I remember 2015, I would say we were completely naive as consumers. Today, consumers really know advance. I remember in 2015, 2016, consumers, a household or even a woman, as a benchmark, had 3.5 products. That means a mix of 3.5 brands. Today, that's exploded in 2024 to around 13.5 to 40 products which he uses. So that just shows how much education has come into this, right? And that's great. It's a great time to be a consumer in our country, but I wouldn't say challenging, but it's a great time also to build a great brand in the country. But not the best of time to be a consumer brand for me.
So how are you navigating yourself and what are the positive points you see for yourself to take the brand ahead in the future?
Yeah, so obviously when you're small, you can navigate faster. When you get larger, you build so much of process and systems where you have to follow and you promise I will not break it. So whenever you want to re-innovate or you want to detour, there are challenges from where it is, but I've always believed speed and agility is very critical. Times are changing rapid. Consumer needs had just been insanely unacceptable. I would also say that I've seen over time consumer brand loyalty in the country is also dropped, right? Because we are very flirtatious with choice. We feel with so much of choices, but it's great. It's always puts the brand on the edge to deliver more, and that's what I've seen in dramatic over the last 5 to 6 years.
So your brand was born when internet boom was happening in the country and technology was actually actually started helping the brands grow. So how it proves as a as an asset to you that
Yes, so obviously the power of the internet was going to play out one day, right? A lot of great e-commerce brands did pop up. Those days was the world of saying, you know what, I'm going to do only Facebook, I'm going to do only digital marketing, and I'll be the large business. No, today you'll have to look at other avenues also. That's where GT and MT is so large and important for us. DMart, Reliance are large partners also today. General trade is something which we're trying to see crack. It's very tough in segments like us because those are customers who go back to the store, buy their same old products, a lot less flirtatious than web because they know what they want to go buy. That's something which is going to be very interesting to it. So I would say I always thought about so many things would happen only one way, but I've been amazed that there has been so many avenues of opportunities, which are great for consumer brands today, right? So those days we used to say internet as a moat. I think it's no more a moat. It's the only way to do it. And it's going to be interesting. The next 5, 6 years will be really interesting to see how things go.
so how technology is going to help you going ahead? You must have have a plan in place.
Obviously, we've built a lot of data capabilities, a lot of inciting predictions. Those are some of the capabilities which we have brought of the past into our current thick and thin seats. I think a lot of AI is going to play to our category too. Also, I won't say anything gimmicky, but businesses like us and consumer brand which use AI are pretty smartly on how they build products as well as how they communicate to customers with the AI. I think we'll have the cornerstone over the next couple of years ahead. So I really see disruption happening there. And technology is going to continue to be important, even on the formulations which you use. What we started off from those days to where it is, technology is rapidly improved. How do you adapt to that also is what is some interest.
You touched upon AI. Have you ever feared that what if AI takes your job away? What will you do?
Unfortunately, we have to be realistic. I think large businesses are going to be built on AI. I am in that path saying that, you know what, a large business, if we create, will be created with AI with lesser people, is my belief. Jobs are something which we want to give. I think execution, you will still need great minds. But a lot of other things, systems, process, we've done so much of automation at our end also, which used to be a lot of manual work. So there is threat, but it depends on how well can anybody use it.
So you have seen the best of the times when the BPC industry is growing. Do you think advertising played a crucial role in making UPC a new share?
I think as a FMCG brand, I think advertising is product you need in your armory. Unless it would be difficult to sustain grow. But things have dramatically shifted over the last few years. So there's so many brands come on board. Advertising costs are expensive. There's so many mediums now where consumers consume media, right? So it's a challenge. Where do you follow? Because it gets fragmented. But initially, yes. But I would say over the last 12, 18 months, 24 months, it's much more tougher to build brand than any other time we were in.
So when you talk about the future of fast insights, what three what three bases are you trying to build it and make sure that it's going to be huge success in the future as well?
Yeah, so innovation, agility, frugality, these are something which are very, very important for us, which are my main spurs which I follow. Innovation, I think, stands over. Because today's customers want new stuff and really fast. We can get obsolete really fast. So that's something which is worry. And for me, another big worry is that you can become so quickly irrelevant as a brand. How do you be relevant to your brand for a long time? Something which we all need to be about being worried or being paranoid, being as FMCG factors. That how do you balance these things out?
So initial 10 years were like explaining the brand to consumers. Now the consumer knows the brand. Where do you see the brand 10 years from now?
I think I think all I would say any brand whose brands take 10-20 years to be built in my mind. You're in that critical phase where consumers know us. Not everybody's tried us, but they know us. Our tone is pretty high. That's top of thing. How do we get more deep rooted sustainably with customers? That's going to be very interesting for the next 10 years. So what we did in the first 10 years, I don't think so we can do that for the next year too. For this next decade. So we'll have to think a lot more differently, act a lot more differently, behave a lot more differently.
Good. It was pleasure talking to you, Manish, and knowing about you and your brand. But before we close the interaction, I would love to have a rapid fire with you. Well, I'll ask a few questions from you and you have to quickly answer them without thinking. One of your favorite business book that you have read and what have you learned from that?
Shoe Doc by Nike. I think it's a phenomenal book of how he thought about it. Very dynamic leader. Nike's creation. Just a huge fan. Nike's a very close brand.
So you started a digital native brand. Where do you shop from? Online or offline?
I'm 100% online guy. I do everything online. I just don't have any places to go offline and buy. Standing in a line, waiting in a counter, buying, that's lots of way for me. But I'm 100% online guy. A lot of Q-commerce today.
And when you talk about, say, everybody knows that you're running the show at Power Science. What do you do in your past free time or past that?
So, good question. Everybody asks me that. I think as founders, we work Monday to Sunday. My Saturday mornings are sports day. So, I go berserk, break, sports, outdoor, indoor. Saturday, Sunday was that sick here. And then I, as a founder and a family man, I have to balance both of it. That's how it is for me.
One retailer or the retail brand that you admire a lot?
Apple.
Okay.
That you ever buy?
And whether lots of brands coming here in India which are trying to build a name for themselves, if you have to give them 3 advices on which they can build a successful brand, what's the advices?
Yeah, so I think though we are the land of the cheapest Coca-Cola, anybody coming globally and wanting to build a brand in India, I think very clearly is that India's changed. I think India is looking a lot more premiumization now. We continue to say, that mass is majority where it is. I think the next 5 to 10 years is going to be about that 3 to 5% of the population buying great products, which will be D2C brands or high-end products. And the balance would also look at how do you premiumize now. So keep that as a business model and can step in here. Yeah.
D2C or omnichannel, what is going to be the buzzword going ahead?
I would always say D2C because it's a great place to go and shop. I think that's the future again. I think that's a good one. I think during pandemic, it was all online and we had a wave of offline coming back. So you're seeing fatigue coming back in offline now and you want to see online with all the Q-commerce boom we're having. I think my play is going to be next digest is back to e-commerce, which I think last 24-30 months, we saw a lot of fatigue in e-commerce. I think we make a cup out.
It was pleasure talking to you, Manish. It was a wonderful interaction.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. We loved it. And if you also loved it, please share it on the social media channels, like it and comment on it. We'll see you again next week with a new retailer and a new story. Till then, bye-bye.